by simply naming people's emotion, you immediately connect. Even if it's about you, you think it's about you. It's never about you.
This is Mahin Kohneh. She's a clinical psychologist and researcher who has decoded the human mind.
Human mind craves clarity. If I want to make someone do something, always give options. By choosing, we think we had the freedom and we had the clarity.
And she knows how to influence anyone. So if I want to open up, what should I be informed about?
Don't be scared of making statements. Make a statement that is slightly wrong. People immediately open up because they want to correct you. People love correcting you, whatever it is.
Something that I've started to realize more and more and more, and every single human behavior person or psychologist or charisma expert, something they all talk about is the way you're formed today stems all the way back to one thing, and that's childhood. How much childhood affects you as an individual today, and you don't really become consciously aware of it. And the biggest issues, at least for myself, is like, I think back to childhood. I'm like, what happened then that made me into the way I act today? I don't know, because I can't remember that long. But when you start to think about it, you can piece things together. So I'm curious, like off the top of your head, do you know specific experiences or maybe relationships that happen in childhood that form who we are today, that have a big impact on that?
I would say definitely I would not start with a specific experience, because I think it's more about an experience that gets repeated a lot, a set of behavior that you were exposed to a lot. So that's what we call a pattern, and that what actually shapes your identity. So something that was constantly repeated. It's okay, we have trauma, it's one-time experience that is different with, like, I'm not going into that, but I think our identity is definitely shaped by what was repeated a lot to us, by words and also actions. For sure, behaviors and actions is more important. So I would say that as a child, that you see a certain pattern, and like your parent has like a behavior and you respond to it, you react to it, right? And that becomes your reaction to that response, to that behavior. And that's why I think we're as adults we are like a set of defense mechanism or protection mechanism, that we wanted to feel a certain way, feel safe, because we were not, like, we didn't like the way we were feeling. We were protecting ourselves. So we kind of build those protection mechanism, and those are your behaviors and you. That's why later in life you just say, I don't know, I have a type, like I have a relationship personality. Like there's no relationship personality. It's just you and your defense mechanism.
So
throughout.
you're saying it's like, maybe in childhood, and it sounds like a lot of this comes from your parents, right? So it's like, oh, my parent was a
Yes.
certain type, and so to get attention, I would be the kid to maybe brown nose my parent a little bit and suck up. And so that's why in today's world, I'm known as the brown noser guy and always trying to like suck up to my boss. Or kid, to get attention, I would stir up drama and maybe throw a tantrum. And so now today I'm the drama type. So it sounds like a lot of this stuff stems from our relationship with our parents.
A lot of it, more than we realize, mostly because they're the first people that we see and we interact with, of course, and especially the mother. It's very important. So I always say, I don't know, I'm not saying that this applies to everyone, but how I would describe it is that we identify with one parent mostly, and it's not really about your gender. So I can identify mostly with my dad, okay? And then later on in life, I choose someone as my partner, which is actually my mom. So it's like I'm dating my mom in future, because that complements my dad, if you understand. Like, so I identify with one of them and date the other. I kind of put it that way because
Break that down. So you identify, Are you able just to walk us through what your parents are like? So when you say would you identify with your dad? So you're saying you identify with your dad, so you try to be like your dad, but you try to date people similar to your mom.
Okay, let me explain this for you. So I'm just gonna give you an example. Let me say that I identify with my dad, and my dad is someone who was dominant in the relationship, who made all the decision, who was more like even maybe the one who decided to end sometimes, sabotage or whatever, right? And my mom was more like people pleasing, like more tolerant of
Yeah.
that behavior, right? So later on, if I identify myself with my dad, I would, and I'm the one that like sabotage, which is a lot of time is like that if you really think about it. Then I would find someone like my mom, which is who's tolerant of my behavior. So then I will call that attraction. That I that is my type. Like I don't know, he's just patient. He's just understanding. He just tolerates my behavior, and I call it love, right? So this is my way to put it. It's maybe over simplification. Like a lot of people, it doesn't apply to everyone, of course. It's just a way to put it. And the way that the decision whether you identify with your mom or your dad, it's also, I think, maybe related to which one you look up to mostly or which one you want to rescue. Like maybe you just wanted to rescue one of them. You were hurt like to see one of them like suffering, and then you identify yourself with that one. So that is also very deep which one you identify mostly. But yeah, that is the way I put it for sure. It's not like a scientific, um, proven method, but I think it makes a lot of sense, and I've seen it, and I've seen the pattern in a lot of people, and I am really good at that. I just, especially after being trained as a researcher, I can think and really um, recognize certain patterns. So
Wait, so if
yeah.
you were so you're saying, let's just say you meet someone and probably you have to get to know them a little bit, right? And so you get to know them a little bit, but based on their personality and the way they act, you can kind of understand what their parent dynamics were like. Is that what you're saying? You know how the mom was, and maybe you know based on who they're attracted to what the dad was, because that all stems back to childhood.
Okay, it's very important to first understand whether that person worked on themselves, healed or not. Because like right now, I would not identify with any of my parents, but before I changed, I did. So I really worked on myself. So then your type also changes. The person you're attracted to also changes, right? So that is important. Like, is it before or after you've healed? And that is one. And also, I would not immediately judge which one because I first have to understand which one they identify with, which one of the parent they identify with, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, if I talk to someone and they tell me a bit about their childhood, I could
Understand that.
see maybe some, but it's unconscious. Most of it is unconscious. So it's not like I'm gonna meet you and say, yeah, you I don't know, I'm attracted to you or something. It's all happening unconsciously, and then that's why we don't understand where it's coming from. Um, and you just call it attraction.
Okay.
But once you like make it conscious and change it, that's your real choice.
One thing I'm
Yes.
really, really curious and fascinated about is
Mhm.
it's on the topic of parent dynamics. So when you think of parents, there's different types of parents in your life.
Mm,
Growing up, I had the friends who had the very overprotective parent. It's like this kid can't have any it's like he comes
mm,
to lunch and he's got carrots and he's got celery and peanut butter jelly. His parents never let him eat any garbage. Or
mm,
it's the kid that their parents will never let them come out and hang out with friends, or they have a lot of restrictions with TV and game time. That's one type of parent. Maybe it's the overprotective.
mm,
There's another type of parent that is super critical on you. No matter what you do, you are always getting picked apart left and right. There's maybe the narcissistic parent. There's the emotionally, unavailable parent. But the thing
Mm,
I didn't start realizing until I started reading Robert Greene, like we talked about, the
mm,
type of
okay.
parent in your life really forms you into the person you are today and gives you a lot of patterns and behaviors. So I'm curious, if we walk through parent dynamics, like if we were to talk about having, let's say, an absent mother or father, do you know how that affects a person as they grow up? Like how they're more prone to act in relationships and just build their character?
Hmm. Um, what I would know, what I know, I think, um, someone with unavailable, um, parent figure or absent would also look for someone that is emotionally unavailable. So, that's kind of like how you look for it. It's something you're always missing, so you also look for someone that has that thing miss in them. So you're also you kind of, um feel like if they're there, you have to seek it all the time because you didn't have it. You have to seek it. So you have to keep on seeking it in your partner as well. It's kind of a, pattern of
Yeah.
behavior. So you have to constantly want it. You want more attention. You want more, like, you want that person to all the time be there. But the problem is that you're seeking it from the person that doesn't have it all. You're the person that is not completely available or doesn't give it consistently.
Interesting.
So that is, I think, definitely one of the pattern, but I'm not sure I'm sure there are other patterns. But this is the one I probably
Isn't that weird?
know.
Isn't that
Well,
weird that you seek the person that is emotionally unavailable and you're always seeking something, but you specifically choose a person that doesn't give that to you. Like, doesn't that sound messed
yeah, it sounds weird. That's why, because it's the behavior that you repeating, right? It's a set of emotions. You have to feel a certain way. And even if it's wrong, it doesn't matter. To me, it's familiar. This feels familiar. I've done it
up?
before. I've done this behavior before. I've like wanted attention and I didn't have it. So I'm gonna keep on doing it, and that to me is normal and love. But um, yeah, that's a problem. It's super weird and toxic. But as human being, we always stay to something just because we know it, and even if we're toxic, our job, our relationship, whatever we known before, we would rather stick to that than just to experience uncertainty because we don't like something that we don't know,
Yeah.
and that's the weird part. Yeah.
It gets me thinking about my past relationships because, um, my first girlfriend and this was back in high school, so this is back in the day, and I guarantee I don't think she's listening to this, but she was definitely more of a drama queen, so she always wanted the attention. It was not the best relationship, but we're young people, but always trying to
Mm,
stir the pot a little bit. And then the girlfriend after that was super laid back, very, very laid
mm,
back, way more go with the flow. But now you got me thinking like what in my childhood and what relationship with my parents led to that and why were those relationships so polar opposite? Like those girls were so much
mhm.
different.
I think you should maybe look for the common pattern in both of them, the way they made you feel.
The way they made me feel.
There was,
Hmm.
and also, of course, your dynamic is important. Maybe you also didn't have like a consistent pattern. It was more unpredictable. So you cannot really say this is what I choose or this is what I followed. It's more the way you felt,
O
the way you yeah, the way they made you feel or um about yourself, right? Because you can have different personalities, but there is a consistent pattern of the way you feel and you behave. So you get to behave the same way
Okay.
around them. What was common about you? What the behavior or the pattern that you had, the way you ended relationship or the way um you felt loved?
That's that's a really good question. I honestly think now that I think about it, the first girl at the start, and I don't mean to sound like a douchebag or anything right now, but she had like a crush
Mm,
on me for a while before I ever came around to her. So you could say
mhm,
like I wasn't above her, but like she was always chasing me. And the
mm,
second girl, like I said, was much more laid back, and in that relationship, I was probably the one that took control and led a little bit more, but that could be a common pattern of both of those relationships. Like, do you understand what I'm saying right now?
um, which one was the common pattern? I didn't.
It's like at both of those, I was being pursued and chased a little bit more. Like, I wasn't always trying
Mm,
to I don't even know how to describe this right now, but so the first
yeah.
girl had a crush on me, before, and we knew this for, like, a year, whatever, but I was never ever interested. So she
Mhm,
was always trying to come up and please me and give me all
mm,
this attention and, like, trying to attract me, and maybe I liked that the entire time. The second girl was much more laid back and innocent, and she kinda just let me in the relationship. Is like, "Oh, more like go with what Anthony wants in certain situations." So, like, is that the common pattern right there? Like, I
you
like control in the relationship. That's probably not a good that's what comes to mind, though. I'd have to analyze
feeling, yeah, the significance
feeling
and feeling which I think most people have. It's just, yeah, the intensity or how much well, some people don't like to actually have control. They want to be controlled. So
You wanna hear something fascinating? So, before we get into some things that will just help in daily life and conversation, one thing I
mm,
read and this, boom, flipped the switch
mhm,
when I started, like, looking at my friends and trying to understand them a little bit more, but one thing I understand, there's this one guy in college, and in college, he's a good-looking guy, and he's built, and, like, he's got a lot of charisma. There's a lot of good things going for him, but every
mm,
single one of the girls he would date, someone from the outside would say, "Yo, like, these girls are way out of your league. Not above you,
mm,
but way below you. Like, dude, you could probably do a little bit better." And I
yeah,
would always wonder that. And something I read is that there's some people that will purposely date someone that's from a
mhm,
physical standpoint way below them because they have an innate fear of
yeah,
losing that type of person in a relationship. So they'll always
mhm,
go for someone that they, quote unquote, would be perceived as higher value so they can have the control and would never lose them.
exactly.
It's just a weird little thing about
It's yeah, it's a way of, feeling in control because, you probably have, like you said, that fear of abandonment. So you know that it's gonna happen and that gives you control that this person, because they need me or they're lower than me, I know that, they're not gonna leave me.
right.
So it will never happen. Yeah. It's, you can say a lot about, like, an insecurity about a person. You would not believe it because you look at them and, like you say, you just wonder why.
Yeah.
Um, but that insecurity can actually, make you, mm, like, make weird decisions, like, regarding your relationships.
The next thing I kind of want to talk about is connection. So
Sure.
I think at the root of all humans, especially myself, like what we really, really want is human connection. That's part of the reason why
Mhm.
I do these shows. I really enjoy connecting with my guests, but something about connection is building trust and making a good first impression. Um,
Mhm.
and the more I analyze myself, like I definitely get social anxiety. Like you probably wouldn't tell, but because I've tried to work on it a lot, but definitely get social anxiety. And one of that is like you meet a stranger for the first time. or maybe it's someone that
Mm.
you really, really wanna impress. Do you have any tips for going and building a good first impression?
I would say 2 ways. One is to be remembered, right? And to be remembered, you have to say something that other people don't say. So something that they don't hear 90% of the time, right? So it is like breaking the script.
Mm,
Whatever it is, you break the script, but with confidence, with authority. So if you're breaking the script with, I know like a lot of people, they might have like a lot of social anxiety, and then when they say it, it might sound awkward. So I'm not saying to the people they have to first work on that. But if you have like some sort of authority first, you can always break the script, which works everywhere on Instagram, like anywhere. If you say something people haven't heard 90% of the time, it's gonna go viral. That's
mm.
it.
Yeah.
Right? If you're gonna remember it. And viral means that it stick. Like it just you're gonna remember it. So it's the same thing when you meet someone and they've never heard something like that. They will always ask, "Hey, how are you?" Right? "Hey, how are you?" All of that thing that you've always heard. So they're not going to remember because brain doesn't remember something that it's like it's like predictable, right?
Yeah.
Predictable. If I am walking outside and every day I'm just walking up like walking on the street and I know that exactly how the street look like, my mind doesn't even go to the street anymore. I'm just going to be in my head because I've already seen that. Everything. But if all of a sudden dog like jumps in front of me, I'm going to remember that moment. So it's the same with a human being. Like if you say something different from everybody else, they're going to remember you,
Do you have
and
go-tos?
especially
Do
something.
you have go-tos for that? Like, to say something different? Because I'm thinking, man,
Mm.
99% of every new interaction is, "Hey, how you doing?" "Oh, I'm doing good. How about you?" "Good." That's it. Do you have any go-tos for that?
I think, for example, um, you can make someone actually feel good by what? By observing something different about them genuinely. Like just observe them. Like take just a minute to just look at them. Maybe someone on stage and you want to talk to them later on, right? Or someone that you just saw like right I don't know, 2 minutes ago, and you just want to take a second and see what's different. What was different about them that you're actually in the first place you're attracted to them, right?
Mhm.
So there is something. Why not being honest about that instead of like, hey, how are you? Like, just say that. That actually caught my eye. Like, just made me think. I was just walking here, and for a second, I was like, just be honest with what you're thinking. That's something that I've never heard actually, and they're gonna remember it. Okay, maybe they're not available, but that's not the point.
So
Um,
you're almost in the spot where maybe starting a conversation, it's better to just give a statement about something you observed about someone.
yeah, but something positive mostly, not
Is is
right?
there a reason for the being positive with it? Psychological?
Of course, because yeah, nobody likes to hear something they don't. The people want to feel good about
Okay.
themselves. That's why like compliment always works, but it should be genuine. Like when I first started with you, I knew that was actually I actually thought about it. I said, "Wow, he's so committed. I can see that. So why not tell him?" Right? You always know something, you just don't say it. You always observe something about someone. We just haven't learned to say it out loud because we're scared that I don't know that they might not like it or. But everybody likes it. Everybody likes a compliment.
And
I would be surprised if somebody doesn't. So
you wanna know something I noticed when we started this? And by the way, that the compliment you gave me at the start, it definitely made me feel good. So, you know how to give a good compliment, and I could tell it was genuine. So, I really appreciate that. But something you said right away is before we started, because we've never spoken before, and you began this and said, "Let's connect for a minute." And immediately when you said connect, it almost gave me like
mm.
a little bit of like a warm, "Alright, well, let's connect." Did you do that on purpose? With your to that?
Yes, I did. I did it on purpose, of course, because it also it also helps me talk better, like, be more comfortable. And when you're comfortable, that's when real connection and conversation happen. So you have to make the other person feel comfortable. And you have to connect with anybody if you're going to a job like meeting. It's um anybody in this world that you're going to talk, just I think it should be a norm. Let's connect for a minute
And
and just know a little bit about the other person and make them feel comfortable, because if you otherwise you go into a role, you go into this role of like, I'm the podcaster, now I have to be a podcaster, right? But if you connect, then you're a bit like more comfortable, which you probably even become a better podcaster because you can let it all like because a lot of time anxiety is the reason that we're not functioning
yeah,
well. So of course, I think it's always important, and also in therapy they do that. You have to connect first. Yeah, and connection is two-sided. So I can't just feel comfortable and expect you also to feel comfortable. But it does help. If I feel comfortable, you will also feel comfortable. It's a nervous system to nervous system. So it also helps.
regarding connection, because that's something you just mentioned a lot right there. So, um, I would say this is for someone that is like really wants to connect, and open up and get people to open up to them, but they're just like they're so inside their head, or maybe they don't really know how to do it. So if we solely focused on connection, how does someone go about connecting with another human being?
Hmm. Emotions.
Emotion.
So I think most people, when you I think there's like connection, emotion, they're just equivalent. Like we cannot connect with logic or words. Like words are just words, right? So what is the emotion behind someone's words? There's always an emotion. And if you can understand that, which is not really hard, I think most people just underestimate how much they can understand about the other person's emotion if they could just listen. For example, I know something that most people do wrong. It's like I just tell you, yeah, work has been crazy. And what do you work? You're hearing words, right? And like a lot of people would say, "Hey, me too, same." Or some people would say, "What happened? Why?" Right? But if someone understand people and emotions, they would say, "You seem like you have a lot on your plate lately." And that's when a real connection happens. That's when you feel something. When you feel like, wow, like I just felt understood for a second. And that's when the connection happened. It already happened. So that's when you just start doing like talking. So always pay attention to what are they saying, and confirm the emotion, match their emotional level.
Match the emotional level. And you match the emotional level because that's a really good point. Because a lot of the time what you'll have is, people connect with probably chaos, stress, and negativity. So a lot of times people
Mhm.
like complaining. But it's something I struggle with too. Like if I get home from work and my roommate starts complaining about something,
Mm.
what is the best way to connect with them? How do I make him feel that I feel that what he's going through?
So yeah, you just actually first of all, there is like a difference between someone who's just gonna just has decided to complain for hours. So you're not gonna go with that, but you're gonna definitely confirm in the beginning. So for at least a few minutes, you're just gonna say, "I hear you. That must be terrible. That must be tough," depending on what they say. Just simple, that must feel really, I don't know, overwhelming. You look overwhelmed. All this just putting a word into the emotion, and this is scientific. Like I know that Yale studies they had a study showing that when you just by simply naming the emotion, you increase trust dramatically. So that's something people I think really underestimate, that by simply naming people's emotion, you immediately connect. They immediately trust you. It's like an instant.
Oh, wow. S
Yeah, so next time just pay attention to what are they talking, not surface level, like, what are they saying? It's not important. It's always about
so
emotion.
you're saying, like, if we're at work and my boss is, like, visibly stressed and you can understand, um, she may
Mhm,
say something to me, it would be wise in that situation to connect with her by saying, "It it seems like you're kind of stressed right now."
mhm, it seems like you're overwhelmed.
Just
Yeah.
a simple statement like that.
Yeah.
Hmm, interesting. Okay, oh, that's such a good point. Because I think a lot of the time, it's something I even find myself doing is the Me Too thing 100%, where you're like, "Oh, yeah, me too." Or go
Yeah, we often do.
right, you do that a lot, and
I do it too.
it
It's terrible. I think it's just terrible, like, you just top it. "Oh, I had, like, even I have a better story for you," like, a worse story. Um, but that's not what the other person definitely wants to hear,
not at
but
all. Every time someone says that, I'm like, "You know what? Shut the fuck up. Let me just complain about what's going on." Um, but the other thing that I find myself doing sometimes is, let's just give a random example, like, a kid comes home and they're complaining, it's like, "Man, like, I hate
Mhm.
my job," or "This is going on," and I'll just be like, "Yeah, I understand. I understand how you feel." But part of me feels like that's not connecting either, right? Because do 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 I really understand? Like, do they want me to understand, or do they just wanna come home and sometimes vent a little bit and get stuff off their chest?
Uh, I think everyone, it's definitely a habit. Most of the time, I think when we complain, it's just a habit. We just feel good by saying it. So probably it works. That's why we repeat it, right? So even if somebody doesn't say anything, we just felt a bit like more relieved, and it's a habit. But definitely, it works when you say you understand. But it does work even better if you say what they feel,
What the
right? So
emotion is.
you look, yeah, you seem like you have, like, you had a lot on your plate or whatever that, make them, you reflect their emotions back to them.
Okay.
That's the
What about, something in, psychology, and it kinda relates to the idea when you said at the start, it's like, "Oh, let's connect." It's called
Mm.
labeling. What do, uh what do I need to know about labeling? Do you know what I mean by that?
You mean by labeling of, like, identity or labeling, emotion?
Yes, labeling
Ident
identity. Um,
I Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
what do we need
that's
to know about that?
a great one. I actually love that one. I think it's one of the technique to see the biggest results. Like, if you want someone to change or to transform or, like, go from A to B, that's the way to do it. You have to use identity technique. And what I mean is to, um if you want someone to act a certain way, for example, I want you to be honest with me. I am going to prime you. I'm going to label that to your identity. And I'm going to want you to live up to it unconsciously. Like, for example, I say, you always been someone that, um, well, I don't know you now. So that is for somebody else. I would say, you seem like someone who likes to hear the harder truth, right? So I'm going to tell you, something honest. Or like, I'm going to, like, no, that was more about me being honest. If I want you to be honest, I would maybe say that you, um, yeah, you want to go the harder path, or um, you like to hear. I think I confused it a little bit. So if I want you, I'm gonna give another example. If I want you to take my perspective, like someone you're stubborn and, like, you don't really consider other perspective, which is a lot around us. What I would say using this technique, I would say, you you seem like someone, or like you always been like someone that took different perspective.
Mm.
So here's mine. or you seem like someone who understands other people's perspective. So let me share mine, right? So I'm already priming you to act the way I want you to act.
Interesting.
I want you to act like that, so I'm going to prime you that way. I think this is really, really deep, and it works with everyone. It works with even kids. If you could just label or prime, you could describe it any way you want. Um, and I think it's important that they have that value. Otherwise, it's manipulation. That's where manipulation comes in. But most people have those kind of values. Most people have positive values, um, majority of people. So you can, I think, safely use that. And at the end of the day, you're going to make them like live up to a positive trait, you know? So if you want someone to be stronger, you could just say, you look like someone who wants to always be better than yesterday, whatever, it's just you just want them to be that, and you label their identity that way. You prime them that way.
Man,
Yeah.
that's such a fascinating thing. I think another thing I've heard on the topic of labeling, it's kind of like negative labeling. So, for example, if you were to come on this show today, like something that's really important for the audience and me as a host is the more you storytell, the better, because that's when people can really, really connect with what's being said. So, a tactic that I could use or someone else could use with labeling is when you come on the show, I go, Mahin, you know what's great? So I was just going through some of your content and watching some of your videos, and I read your
Hmm.
book. And something that I've experienced with a lot of my guests is they don't like to storytell. They'll just come on here and they'll just speak their mind and they're stating points. And it's hard for me to connect as a host and hard for my audience. But something I notice with some of your stuff is how much pride you take in storytelling. And I can tell that it's a big passion of yours. And it's just something that I observed and I've got a lot of respect for. So like when you kind of break that apart, what I'm doing is I'm putting
Yeah.
out group. It's even a part of a call. What's like one of the biggest parts of a call? Out
Mhm,
group.
mhm.
We don't associate with this type of person. So by bringing
Yeah.
that up, I'm like unconsciously priming you to be like, all right, well, let's get into
Mhm.
storytelling. Let's share some.
Yeah, 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 that's true. That works also like crazy. Yeah, like you just want to also feel kind of different. So a lot of time, if you want someone also to be open, for example, you could just say, most people are not honest about this. What do you think? Like most people can tell the truth. Um, like it's just, and then it makes you braver. It makes you like, I don't want to be that person. I want to be different,
Yeah.
but in a good way. So it's also definitely a part of labeling and wanting to live up to it or not live up to it. So,
Do you have any other oh, what about this? So in conversations, my God, this is
mhm,
trying to figure this shit out right now. But something in conversations that I noticed is when I get really in my head, and the social anxieties kicking up. I tend to overthink a lot of things. So I think
mm,
one thing I pride myself in a lot is trying to be a good listener. So when you're listening,
mm,
I'm giving you my full devout attention and because I'm genuinely curious and interested in what you have to say. But something with when the social anxiety kicks in, or when you're speaking with someone that you don't really know or you're trying to impress, is in that conversation, you can never be fully focused because your mind is always thinking about, oh my God, I gotta say this next. Well, what else can I observe? What can I bring here? Because the conversation is gonna die. Then I gotta say this. So on that level, that's the picture of the person that I'm trying to paint right now. In a conversation with someone you're trying to impress, and you can kind of tell that that conversation may be dying out. Do you have any tips to keep that going and keep that engaging?
I love this. I actually I had my master class and I talked about this that Most people do that, especially people with social anxiety. And what I would like to describe it as is like driving. Instead of focusing on the road, you're focusing at, like, you're staring at your own hands on the wheel.
Wow.
Like, how do you feel? You're gonna feel super tense, and you're gonna hit something on the road soon, very soon. It's exactly the same way. When we talk a lot of time, we're focusing on ourselves. How do I sound? Yeah, I'm not sounding confident. Oh, what do I say next? So the more you focus on yourself, the more tense you become, and they also feel that tension
Hmm.
immediately. And you're soon going to hurt them as well because you don't know what you're doing. So the right way to do it is to ask questions like, how do I want this person to feel?
Okay.
Instead of how. Focus on the other person, focus on the connection, on the impact, not on yourself. Just like the road, everything becomes natural when you focus on the road. You don't even think about the next thing. It just comes. The whole energy just changes. Like all of a sudden I'm like, how do I want to make this person feel? Like today you go to work, you meet your colleague, whoever, and you just in your head, instead of asking, yeah, like what do I want to say, just say, how do I want to make them feel? Make that person like
Really?
seen, understood, inspired, heard, anything. It's just the when you change that question to them, when you change the focus from yourself to them, then everything becomes natural. Then you'll become a super um, natural communicator. Like you don't have to think about the next thing to say.
So you're saying
I
I
think
should go into every conversation and just have one purpose, and this purpose should just I should try to make this person feel a certain.
always,
Okay. Okay.
always, even if it's an interview. Even if it's about you, you think it's about you, it's never about you. It's about the other person. And even if it's a boss or whoever, if you focus on them, how to make them feel, they're going to like you. They're going to hire you. They're going to look up to you. They're going to be inspired by you. So you've achieved everything that let's say, that you also want, right? Just by focusing on the impact and the connection.
I think, the counterpoint to that would be because I know how this feels. And first of all, I've never done that before, so I'm gonna try that out and let you know, and it's already clicking in my mind, like, I could see this making sense, but someone with the social anxiety would say, "Yeah, okay, like, I'll go into this conversation, and I'm gonna try to make this person feel heard or make this person feel happy, but what do I say?" Like, I don't know what to say, like, are there tips? Should I be asking questions?
You're not saying things. That's it. Yeah, it's a problem. Like you're thinking of what to say, but let's say um, they're just talking about themselves, right? If you listen, if you focus on them, that you're not going to go to yourself again. Like it's like someone's like I told you says work is crazy. It's natural, like crazy. You can also do that actually. Repeat the last words to themselves. That's like a very easy technique for people with social anxiety also, that if you don't know what to say, just repeat what they said. Just reflect back to them what they said. They're always given information, but when you're thinking about yourself, you forgot that they just gave you an information because you were thinking, because you didn't even hear the last word they said. You were thinking so much about yourself. But if you heard them like saying, I don't know, that I don't know, I haven't done anything. I am so stressed or whatever. They've said so many things. You just didn't listen, and you could just reflect easily. Just the last word, stress. I don't know. Work has been crazy, crazy. It's just so simple. You just want them to explain. You go with them. Ask questions. Don't talk. Just don't think about yourself.
Just be interested.
Exactly. Like you said it yourself. You said that being really genuinely curious. And that is something to train. So in the beginning it will look awkward that when you're trying. And it's okay. I think with everything in the beginning it looks fake.
Yeah.
and you're gonna struggle, but it will come after a while that you I was not a good listener for a while. I would not call myself like a very good listener, like decent. But I decided to really change that because and in the beginning, honestly, it was super difficult for me. And then we call ourselves like we have ADHD, like, that mindset, I would call it, that you immediately labeled something. When you label it, you're not going to change it anymore. That's why at some point, I was like, no, I don't have any hearing problems. I have just learned a habit for 25 years to not listen to people because nobody told me, hey, you can change this. And it's going to be difficult in the beginning. So I started actually just listening to people. I was like, but that's not genuine. It's not genuine. Of course, in the beginning, it's not genuine. It's fake. But that's what everything, like how everything changes. In the beginning, it's fake and then it becomes genuine. And then honestly, right now, I just genuinely love hearing people's story, like listen to them, understand them, to reflect their emotions. And I just really enjoy it. And I know that it also gives me dopamine. So it's not only by talking that you get dopamine. When you learn how to listen very like genuinely and you know what they're talking about, you also get dopamine. So you can also train that. And then so you can train anything then. That's my point.
Oh, I love that. Okay. I think yeah. I think so going forward, I will come into every or it sounds like you're saying going forward, come into every single conversation with a sole purpose of how you want to make that person feel. And
Mhm.
by doing that, you're gonna get out of your head and stop staring at your hands, and you're just gonna
Mhm.
focus on the road. And because of that, your brain is gonna naturally flow more in conversation, and you're not thinking about
Mhm.
what to say. It'll just come up.
Yeah, but you shouldn't repeat like oh, focus on the other person. Focus. This also becomes like
Yeah,
robotic, of
yeah,
course.
totally.
Like, and then now you have another thing to stress about. It's just I'm just saying that so that it becomes easy, but you should just be yeah, you should just listen. If you listen to them, they're just telling you so many things. Just pay attention to what they're saying. To sometimes even say if you freeze, just look at their eye color. Really, like notice their earrings, like not staring, right? Shouldn't also stare, of course, but about them, anything about them. It's not about you.
Okay.
So, you know, and for the eye contact, I was just thinking that like a lot of people also struggle with that in the beginning. Like, when you have a script to live up to, it's just very disturbing. Like how much eye contact I should have. Oh, did I stare too much? Or maybe I should just look away right now. So you're again like questioning yourself,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, all the time.
But it's because you're thinking about so much about how you look to them. But they don't care as long as you make them feel good and feel understood. And then everything also becomes natural and you see, oh, you had actually the perfect eye contact when you were not thinking about it.
Okay.
Even right now, if I think about it, I think I will go crazy. If I think about my own breathing, I cannot breathe. Well, that's not about like the meditation part, when you think like, how am I breathing? Then you cannot breathe anymore. So don't just just think about the other
Is
person.
is there a breakdown of proper eye contact? Um,
There is a script.
how much eye contact should we be having?
I think when you were speaking, definitely it's like less,
Yeah,
right? Because when you're listening, it should be more. You're the one listening and you're focusing on them. So it means you're also focused. So it's like more 60% of eye contact,
okay.
they say, something like that when you're listening. And when you're speaking, yeah, because you're speaking, maybe you're just not really, yeah, you just look away, looking, so that is like 40%. But those are really arbitrary. Like, I don't know if that's something you should live up to, but
Yeah.
it
Well,
makes
I've
sense.
I've heard the 60% before. Something I've just noticed in my life is, like, I really hate when people don't look me in the eye when they talk, like, it's one of my biggest pet peeves,
Mm.
and immediately when they do that, my mind goes to, "Oh, they're not interested and they're not talking." So, when I try to be in conversations, I
Mhm.
won't make it creepy, but I'm just, like, locked in the eye. So, I think I'm
Mhm.
higher than that 60%, but then part of me goes like, "Oh, is this creepy? Like, should I be strategically breaking content?"
No. S No. So see, this is what I mean. Like, to me, you have perfect eye
Mm,
contact. So, you don't have to change anything. But suddenly 60%, like, comes up and you're like, "Oh, maybe I'm doing it wrong," right? But you're not. So it could also be different for anybody. For you're also like your podcast, or maybe you don't like to be called like that, but it is very normal and it's perfect to do that. So it's a lot of context, a lot of personality, as long as it's feels natural,
okay.
which it does. So don't question it.
Alright, what about the topic of cues? Um, Specifically, like, are there subtle things that we do that change
Mm.
the way people feel or think about us unconsciously? Like, what are some of the most common ones?
Um, I would say moving a lot. Like, that's one sign that you're not comfortable. Like, if you have like jerky moves, like all of a sudden you reach for something, you know that when you have anxiety, you might also be doing it. Like
Mhm.
that you just I don't know, you just want to move. It's trying to stay your body trying to stay focused. And to the other person, it it's like it all happens in the at the unconscious level. So to them, it also they immediately feel that you're nervous and you're uncomfortable. That's one. The other one is like blink rate. So I think Chase Hughes
Mhm.
like talk about this a lot.
Love
Like
that.
he said, he says that it's yeah, if you want to know when to change a topic, always look at someone's blink rate. If it's going up, then it means you have to change the topic because probably it made them uncomfortable. But of course, if they started with a high blink rate, then maybe yeah, it's not just about you.
Wait, so
So I
for
think.
someone that hasn't, listened to Chase or read his stuff, can you explain the concept of blink rate? Because it's a really, really fascinating thing.
Mm. I think what I remember is that, um, yeah. So if I know that from the beginning that when we talked, I know I observed your eye blinking rate. Let's say just quickly, and it was very like low. So that means you were very focused. And then all of a sudden we start talking about something, and I see that you're just blinking more, right? Like, and that's when you know that you're having a problem with this topic.
Okay.
So whatever it is, that means that I should be changing the topic.
So blink rate is like a sign of
Mm.
stress.
Yes,
Interesting. Okay.
higher blink. So it's like he says, it's like about the change from where you went to where, right? Because if you, from the very beginning you had it high, then it means yeah, it still means that maybe you're uncomfortable, but maybe not related to you. Um, yeah, so that's actually the um, I think mainly what he talks about. The other
Yeah.
cues that shows you're nervous. Also, like eye contact, I think it's really, really important that we already covered that. I think that is the biggest sign of um, connection and being human. Actually, um, so I think stillness in general, being still, like being like steady in your voice, in your body movements, in your blinking, all of that. I think it's just being slow is a sign of that you're relaxed. You have authority also.
Mm.
You're perceived as having more authority, more competence. It is also science, by the way. So I'm just not saying that. Like just slowing down your tone, which sometimes I also don't do because I'm excited to talk about something. So it's not always, but just like playing with your tone and not be um like always talking talking and fast talking or over explaining.
Yeah.
Just making room in your sentences.
Do you purposely do that on your content? Your content's like, it's like slow and hypnotic. Like you're very camera.
Honestly, I don't know if I don't know if I do that on purpose, but I did at some point that I had to change entirely maybe how I speak because I just wanted to. I do change a lot of things in myself. I just always want to be better, so I decided at some point to, um, yeah, not maybe talk too much or talk too fast or always even like pause before responding. Sometimes, not
Mm.
always. Sometimes I do forget. That's also a sign of authority. Just 2 3 second pause. It gives you more time to think, and also you're perceived immediately as having more authority.
By just pausing
Um,
after someone says something.
Someone asks you a question, right? I ask you a question. You just say 1 2 3, 1 2 3,
Really?
and then you talk. Yeah,
And that does what? That just, makes me be perceived as,
yeah, as having more authority.
"Oh, just pausing." That's it's not
You,
always easy though. It's like hard to pause because, at least for me, sometimes I know, like, I don't, it's awkward silence, like, I don't want it to be
That's it.
right.
That's it. That's you mention it. The awkward silence. So you have to be okay with the silence. That is the sign of authority.
Oh,
Like if you look at those like big leaders, people that have a lot of authority, they they're comfortable just living in the silence.
mm,
They're not gonna jump in and filling the gap for you. And even if you just go silent, I think the way to practice it is just sometimes just go sit next to someone and don't talk and just live in that uncomfortable moment. You train yourself that it's okay. Why am I even scared? Why is it not okay to just not talk and explain anything, right?
yeah. You know what's funny? It's because I've heard about that before, and it's something I try to do, and in the moment, it's weird to kinda just,
Mm.
like, shut up and let there be a little silence, but, you always feel really good after. Like, you mentioned dopamine earlier. It kinda gives you a little bit of dopamine just, like, shutting up after, and you feel more
Yeah,
powerful. You really do.
you do.
Like, it
Yes. So it is real.
kinda just happened right there. For um,
So there's a lot of things to practice
on, uh
for me.
on cues, are there other, I mean, it could be cues. When I think of cues, I also think of body language, stuff that makes people feel more desired to be in your presence. Like, are there stuff we can do in conversation that makes people feel more comfortable?
Actually, I heard, one that was really, mind-blowing. It's like saying that if you're in a meeting or talking to someone, just never, face them directly because it kind of trigger their defense mode or something. It's evolutionary. We're wired to think that it's like somebody's attacking us. So if you just, like, sit just, like, with a little angle, like, slightly not completely straight, right? And that makes them immediately comfortable. And I actually did that in real life, and it does work. So that is, for example, those kind of, like you say, subtle cues that makes someone
Yeah,
comfortable. I think also in yourself, when you are comfortable, the other person also feels comfortable because it's again nervous system to nervous system. Most of the time, we're regulating each other's nervous system. So if you were super nervous or something, I would also become nervous.
right,
That's just how it is. So the first thing you can do is to actually just be comfortable yourself. Um, by I have a trick for that where you just think that you're actually planted somewhere.
okay,
It's like a little you're planted. You're just your feet like a plant. You're grounded. That's why they call it grounded in a way. You're actually
yeah,
literally would be grounded, right? it means that you're not gonna move just with anything, like a slight wind or something. You're completely grounded, you're still, you're steady.
Mm.
So just when you sit, you could just feel like that, a bit, and you make the other person also feel comfortable.
The thing about the feet and facing, that's so true,
Mm,
but something I would always and now I'm starting to angle myself off a little bit more, but I always read like, "Oh, if someone's feet are pointed towards you, that means that they're
mm,
interested in you." Like, for example, I'll think about a networking event, and when I go to a networking event and I'm talking to someone and they're like this, I'm just like, "Well, screw this guy. He doesn't wanna hear anything right here." So I made it like a point to every person that I'm gonna talk to, I'm gonna force my
mm.
feet to be directly pointed to them. And but even though when I started doing this, I'm like, "God, it feels weird right now." Like, there's, like, something it feels a little bit off, and so maybe it is wiser to shift your body, but
It's very slight, yeah. Like, not like also, this is not comfortable. This is like you said, this is lack of interest, but it should just be, like when you're in a meeting and this is different, this is a podcast, you don't feel that. Like they're just even putting their hands and they're like looking right at your face. Okay, tell me what's going on, you
yeah,
know? It makes you like you're attacked actually. So you might not be comfortable immediately, at least. So yeah, I think that's something I also experimented all in life, and it works.
okay. Alright, well, I'm gonna try that more. What about the topic, I know your book, a part of that is, like, persuasion and influence. What's your
Yeah.
favorite part what's your favorite topic about persuasion and influence that you wanna cover?
Mm. Influence is well, definitely agreeing or opening up. I think we didn't talk about that. So I can talk about everything that you already actually outlined. I don't remember.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I can bring it up. I was just wondering if there's, like, a certain point or maybe a certain study that you found super, super fascinating that it's just like, if this person hears this, this is gonna change gonna freaking change their life.
Ah, okay. Actually, I know, well, I went viral the first time with the technique of, how to make people open up. I just didn't know, that so many people misunderstood that as well. But I think that is a topic I've realized over time, like 8 months I've been doing this on Instagram, and I've realized that people have such high interest in making people open up. I just had to realize that for myself. What is it? Like, if I ever talking about making people open up, all of a sudden everybody just wants to watch my
Mhm.
reel. And I still haven't decoded that. But I think it's kind of um the reason is that people want to have power, so they like some sort of power always to know that, okay, if I do this, I'm gonna make this person do this, do that,
Right.
So that's why they also misunderstand the part of manipulation. But yeah, I'm actually open to talk about opening up, making people how to change people's mind or make them agree with you. Like those are definitely my favorite
Let's
parts.
focus on, opening up. So if I want someone to open up, what should I be informed about?
Um, so I think the fastest way to make someone open up is to say the very thing that they fear to admit out loud. So it's kind of like humans open up when they feel pre-understood, right? They know they're going to protect. There will be no judgment. No, there will be understanding. So, for example, um, I say, mm, I get the sense that you've been holding a lot together lately, right? And yeah, and 9 out of 10, they just say, "Whew," and they, tell you everything. That's, I think, um, one of the fastest way, and definitely one of my favorite because I like to observe, like, what people been experiencing, and actually it's kind of also the same as the reflecting back the
Yeah.
emotion, so it's really powerful. The other powerful way to make people, share and open up, it's to open up first.
Mm.
Like, it's reciprocity, like, you expect people to open up and you ask them question, they're not gonna do it, but just do it first. Show them how you do it. And I have seen that work, like, it works like magic, really. I remember I had a friend, I always wonder how she made everybody talk. She had no idea she was doing that, And she had so many friends. I wouldn't say that she had, like, good qualities, but she could just make a lot of friends and everybody was just talking to her. And I realized what she always did was to immediately start with something vulnerable about herself, like whenever she was really comfortable. And I never personally judge her something that she was vulnerable because I think it made people also very comfortable. And I also noticed that, like, when you took the lead and you open up, like, about your relationship, I already felt that I was also, like, 10 times more comfortable. So I think it definitely one of the strongest way also to make people open up.
Sorry, keep going. Do you have other stuff to say?
Yeah, so this is two of them, but the one I went viral with, I think it's also from which I didn't know at the time, actually. It was, also Chase Hughes like, he talks about that don't be scared of making statements. Instead of asking questions, sometimes just make a statement that is slightly wrong, right?
Mhm.
And people immediately open up because they want to correct you. People love correcting you, whatever it is. So that's when they share more than they plan to. So if I just tell you, you come to me and I say, "Hey, Anthony, you look like you got a lot of sleep tonight. You look so," and then you say, "No, actually, I didn't get any sleep." Like, if it's not
Yeah.
correct, right? But I should know a bit of information. I know that you didn't get good sleep somehow, and I know that you're gonna share a lot more. "Oh, yeah, but lately I haven't been getting so much sleep. I've been working so hard," right? You're willing to share so much more, and then when you say, "Yeah, I got, like, good sleep," right? If you confirm, you just confirm and you move on. But if it's wrong, then your brain looks for all the way to how to correct the other person, so you share a lot.
That actually made me think about, because I know what you're talking about, and an example he would always give is like, "Oh, a little test is without asking any questions, go to Whole Foods and figure out how much the Whole Food employee makes."
Yeah, that's true. I heard
And the
that.
way you do it is you go up and say, "Hey, I read this article, the other day that you guys got bumped up to $27 per hour as a s,"
Mm.
and then boom, immediately, "Bullshit. We're underpaid. We're this, we're that." And it also makes you think about, this past weekend, we had, like, a Christmas party for our work, and you know how these things go. First of all, they're a slippery slope. Like, when alcohol gets involved, you gotta be control of yourself. You don't wanna be oversharing stuff and whatever, but it also gives you an opportunity to, like, really connect with people. And something that I just wanna figure out, like, oh, yeah, like, do people like this stuff? Do they not like it? I'm not, like, trying to get them screwed over, like, I don't care, but it's just another way to, like, kind of, relate and connect to people. But if
Mhm.
I were to come to you and let's just say you're my manager, you're my coworker, and we don't really know each other, and we're at this party, and I just go, um, "So do you like work?" I'm sure immediately you're gonna have like 70 barriers go up and be like, "What is this guy doing? Why does he want this information? Why is he asking me?" Like, do you understand what I'm saying right now? wouldn't you kinda just be like, "Why is this guy pressing me? He's trying to get something out of me." But if I make a
Mm,
statement like, I don't know, like, "Oh, I hear that everybody at our company is really loving work," or something like that. Like, you're probably more
mm.
prone to correct me or not or overshare.
Yeah. I heard you're promoted, and there's a no, of course not. I actually I'm about to be fired, which you didn't hear.
Yeah, it's, like, such a fascinating way to get people to kinda go and spill the beans a little bit more.
Yeah, and we naturally do that. We assume a lot of things, and that's when we get people actually to talk just by so I think we shouldn't be scared to sometimes do it, but it's also dangerous if you do like do it on sensitive subject,
Right.
right? Um, yeah, it's better to ask the question, especially in relationships. Like if you just assume things, um, at least if you assume and say it so that they correct you, don't just assume it in your
Yeah.
head.
We're spilling a lot of good beans. What about this? So, we got open up. I think
Mhm.
another pressing topic of, like, persuasion and influence, and this comes with, like, speaking. So, if you were to let's say I really wanna become a better speaker, and to become a better speaker, I wanna be more convincing with the way that I
Mm,
speak. Would how would
mhm.
you advise me to be a more convincing speaker?
Hmm. That's where my ebook comes in. You should download my ebook
Well, I've got it downloaded.
and
What's the name of your ebook? Drop the name of your ebook for everyone.
how to be 7 times more convincing. And the 7 number 7, it's also in the book why I chose number
Yeah.
7. So,
Oh, I know it.
yeah,
Alright, let's hear it.
it's yeah, of course I put a lot of things in there because I think it's a whole personality to work on to be convincing. But um I would always start with making people feel good. Again, if I want to be more convincing, I should know a lot of way to make people feel good before I make them do anything or change their mind or agree with me. So I think people don't do that enough. Like they just immediately come and say, "Yeah, what do you think about this?" Or I don't know, I want you let's do this. Let's why would I do that? Why should I care about your idea? Why? Is there any reason? Like, because people don't really care about you, who you are. They care what is it in that idea for
Mm,
them, right? So one of the strongest ways to make it about them, make them feel like they are going to gain something. Like I know a lot of people come to me actually on Instagram and they say, "Yeah, I'm a video editor. I do this, I do that." I don't even read it. Because if you're and then I realized I actually read a few of them, and I just wanted to analyze why I kinda liked a few of them, and I realized it was they didn't start with I. I do this and that, I had this I don't read that. I don't care who you are. I really don't care. It's like immediately, it's about you should make why should I care? Like, first, give me proof what you've done. That is the fastest way that I would believe you, that I would want to work for you. What you have done. This is like as a proof, not like number one, number two, number. It could be like an image. It could be like mentioning a name that you worked with, how much money, number, and eventually, like when I said making people feel good, it's again coming back to the idea. If you want people to like to change their mind, you want to be convincing, you want to change their mind, right? And a lot of people, what they do is to immediately say that, well, this is what I think, or I don't agree with that, or um, this is what you should be thinking. And I think it's over. When you do that, if they're in defense mode, it's over. You cannot convince anybody. So the first and important thing to do is to not put them in the defense mode. How? Like, if I want to change your mind, I'm going to first agree to something that you agree as well, right? I'm going to find that common interest or whatever it is that we talked about. I'm just going to say, what you just said, it's amazing. It's like, I love it that you see it that way. Or um, just elaborate a bit about their idea first,
So
right? About what they.
if I came to you and say, because let's just break this down to example.
Mhm.
I just come and say, hey, I got really good news. This Friday I got invited to some big event in New York City, and a lot of cool people are going to be there. How would you go about answering that?
But what do I want to convince you of?
You don't want me to go to it because we have plans.
Mhm. Okay. So first, definitely I would acknowledge like that's like, but without sounding. I think this is where even my partner does that mistake. He has learned this technique and he tries to, of course, like do that. But sometimes I say, no, 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 you did it so shortly. That's why it didn't
Okay.
work. So you have to take your time and talk about it like you're not going to come up with a but. So they should not feel the but yet. You're just saying, that's amazing. I honestly, I'm so proud of you. Like, and just even elaborate, like, how did that happen? Like, and just talk about it and make them feel really good. Because when people feel good, that's when they're open about things. When you have dopamine, not when you're in defense mode. But if I go too short, you immediately go to the defense mode. You're just um, and that's when survival mechanism are active, and you're just like defending yourself. And um, so I'm just gonna elaborate on that part a bit. Take your time, elaborate a few minutes, and then say, "But here's something that will change your opinion about this, or here's something that could you make it even better. Like I have a better idea that will make you like like the way I say it is like also going to benefit you, but it's just that it's an add-on. It's not a disagreement to you going or
Right.
something. It's actually that makes things better,
Okay.
right? So I'm just going to say it's if you have plans, um okay, first of all, probably I will let you go. I'm not that person. I would just want you to want to convince you because it doesn't make sense if there's something so big. Um, but if the plan that we have is so important, I should focus on what it brings you, the plan. You know, I'm not sure what it is that is more important than than going to that meeting, but it should be like benefiting you. Like it's going to give you more peace of mind, or maybe it gives you more authority that when you don't go this time because they know that you care about your family and they know so I'm giving you everything that you maybe want to hear.
What about those DMs stuck out to you? Because I know exactly what you're talking about, and I get those all the time, and immediately I'm like, I'm not click on
Mm,
it. The first line is, "Hey, I'm an editor, not gonna look at it," or it's like, "You're missing out."
hmm
Some people will, like, take a more harsh approach, like, "You're missing out on so much opportunity." I'm like, "Dude,
I
don't
know.
tell me what I'm" that's the quickest way to piss someone off. Even if I am, you're
That
telling me that I'm doing something wrong, bro, like, shut up.
God, that's terrible. They've done that to me too.
So
And I'm like, what do you think? Go train yourself on human behavior a bit, like understand and come up with a better seriously, they can actually write. I think the most important thing is that it should be short. I hate long ones. Like with everything, it's just when it's short, when there's clear clarity, I'm more likely to read it, to also think about it, to accept it. That's one. And immediate proof, right? Immediate proof. Like I don't have to, because I don't have time. Like I get all this messages. I'm not going to go search you and then I don't even find you. You haven't even sent me a link. You haven't sent me anything, right? Like, and I come on your page and you tell me that I increase your engagement to 10K. I don't know. And then I see zero engagement on your, right? is that your proof? Like, what are you talking about, right? Or so that is just, yeah, that's the red flag. And the other one is to actually that works is to um immediately say what that person had to do. Like, again, clarity. Like, it will take 5 minutes, like this person said, and you can block me if you didn't like it. I actually like that because it means that you have so much confidence in yourself that it kind of makes me believe that I'm gonna actually, yeah, that I'm allowed to. It's like a freedom. When people have freedom, they're more likely to do it. You know, it's up to you. This is who I am. Like, this is what I've done, not who I am. And this is the proof. Give me 5 minutes. That's clarity, number, short. And then if not, then block me. That means that I'm also free to say no. Because a lot of time we're attaching a lot of energy to that message. It's like, oh, I don't feel like answering. I don't feel like disappointing you. So I'm not even gonna give you a chance, right? But if I know that you're not gonna be heard after, or you're not gonna be chasing me or something, then maybe I might actually give you a chance because wow, it's so easy. I'm just gonna block you actually. Right?
Yeah, that's
That actually worked, and I analyzed this.
I didn't even think about that. That's a good point. I one because I get a lot of messages too. You want to know the number one thing that will make me I'm not saying I would do the editor stuff because like
Mm,
those motherfuckers, they all have 0 posts and it seems like a total scam. Like you know what I'm talking about, right?
yeah, 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 yeah.
But if someone wants to connect, the number one thing that's gonna make me wanna connect with them, and maybe it's
Mhm,
selfish there's 2 things, there's 2 things. So number 1, it's and this is great for networking. You gotta
mm,
tell me what's in it for me. Because, like, when you start thinking about people, they're so focused on themselves, and you're like, "Oh, just give me 5 minutes, give me 10 minutes." People really are busy, and even but they will make time for stuff, but it needs to be worth their time. So, I would always focus messaging on, like, what is in it for that person, but the other thing that's, like, the biggest, "Boom,
mhm.
let's do it," is if you name drop someone that I know or you have a relationship with someone I know, like a mutual, because that automatically just builds a lot of trust
Yeah.
between us,
Mhm.
like, instantly. So
Yeah.
it's easily one of the biggest things. Um, and man, we've covered a lot. Um, is there anything else before we kind of start wrapping this up that we haven't talked about today,
Mm,
or that you
no.
think could give power in someone's life and kind of change through social dynamics and relationships?
Mm, okay. Wait, sorry. I was just looking at the document. Um, another way, for example, another smart way that I always use if I want to really make someone do something and I just want them, for example, a friend to really come over or do something that I want, what I would do is to give them options. Like, that is, yeah, that is one of the most underestimated. Like, it's just so easy to make someone do something if you give them options. By, for example, um, if I want you to, if I want to see you next weekend, right, or anytime soon, I'm gonna say, do you want to hang out like Saturday or Sunday? Like, always give options.
Uh,
It's not like one thing because human minds like want again like craves clarity. And a lot of time by choosing, we think we had the freedom and we had the clarity. So my partner actually did this on me, and that's when I realized that it really works. That he said, um, "So do you want to invite my sister like this weekend or next?"
wow.
And yeah, and then suddenly I was like, "Yeah, this weekend actually, because next weekend or." And then I realized that is genius because not only it's not also manipulation because it actually made me make a decision easier, right? It gave me options. And all of a sudden you feel like you're able to choose, right? And so your mind only goes to that to see which one. So it's a trick I also do on myself, not only on people. So whenever I want to be productive or do something, I always ask myself, like if I want to write, right? I want to say, do I want to write like one paragraph or do I want to scroll?
Mm.
And then my mind immediately says, of course, I want to write. So I just trick myself by saying, do you want to do this or this? And you most of the time you're going to choose the positive one or um, choose something that, of course, is going to benefit you. So I think it's a really good trick in persuasion. You get people to do it, like yeah, to have a meeting with you. Yeah, do you want to like do it in 20 minutes or 1 hour or I don't know. Do you want to do it this Tuesday or Monday? Like it's just I think it works
That's
magic.
such a good point. You know who does this a lot? My dad. My dad does this a lot. And always
Yeah.
with like freaking chores. He's like, "Well, what do you want to do? Do you want to take Louis for a walk or do you want to do this other thing around the house?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't want to do either. Well, let me just put that straight. I don't want to do either." But he just paints the picture and it's like, "Well, I don't have any option. So pick one of the two. Like this is your choice." But the other thing it does,
Yeah.
and you mentioned it, like that concept of freedom. It gives you freedom because you're able
For-
to choose and you're autonomous. That was one of the
Yeah.
biggest, and I keep leading you on with this Robert Greene stuff. That was one of the biggest parts in his book, The Laws of Human Nature, in the influence chapter. It's like people desire to have three things. I forget what the other two were, but one of them is like one of the core desires of a human being is to be autonomous and free
Mm,
thinking. And you will never
that's true.
ever influence someone successfully if they feel like you're forcing
Mm,
them to do something. And
that's
that's
true.
literally what that principle hits on.
That's true. Yeah. Exactly. It's autonomy. Like, and there are a lot of other things that you could do for autonomy. Like, just say at the end, like, no pressure at all. That even that sentence at the end of like, your paragraph where you send someone or when you talk, you say, only if you can. I would love for you to be there, but no pressure.
Yeah.
Right? It's like still you're just um giving them autonomy. So yeah, that's definitely very strong.
One other thing I noticed about you, and maybe you've put time and you've practiced this, or maybe you haven't, but you're a very good active listener. And I want to pick your brain a little bit. Like when when
Mm.
I'm saying points and stuff, like you make me feel like I should keep talking. Just like the reactions and stuff that you give. Is that stuff that you've like learned and you're conscious of? Maybe not conscious of right now, but in the past, like, oh, I should be maybe nodding my head or smiling or leaning in. Like what are you doing?
Mm. Um, I still thought that I was not doing enough because because I definitely do better than this if it's maybe not a podcast or yeah, like a real life conversation, but thank you so
Yeah.
much. Um I I think what I do is to just like give a key phrase that you gave, right? You talked about autonomy. I don't have to remember everything. I did listen, but it makes you also less anxious that you don't have to remember everything and that you can summarize everything that they said. You talked about autonomy. So it doesn't matter what book you talked about, what principle, but at the end, like you mentioned one key phrase,
Right.
right? So if you could just train yourself to listen for that key phrase that the other person says and start your next conversation with that. Like your next point, right? You first say, yeah, you just mentioned that, and that you again validate that key phrase, and then you start from there again. I think that's probably what you mean.
Well,
Um,
I'm talking about like just like sometimes you're ripping smiles when I'm talking or you're going in like this. Like it's not even
huh.
stuff you're saying. It's just kind of like what's going on here and I guess with your body. Are you conscious of that stuff, or is it just happening?
Not
Re
really. Not
Okay,
really. I think it's just I do know all the scripts, but if I want to be super honest with you, I never lived up to any scripts. Um, so it's not like in my head, it's like, "Oh, did I, nod every 30 seconds or something? Or did I nod too much? Or did I do this?" I didn't do that. I think it's just very distracting. I think I told you when my number 1 rule is for connection is to be genuinely curious and want the conversation going. So, I'm also very much like, for example, you said Robert Greene. I've never read it, right? But if I just act like I have, then the whole conversation goes another way. Like, I feel bad about myself. I feel like, what if I feel insecure. So, that is one thing that you just open and honest, and and yeah, and the other one is just to be genuinely wanting to learn. I wanna learn more than, like, and I'm, like, open to be better and better every day. So I'm not here as someone that already, like, perfect and want to teach the whole world. I'm just I just look at it also really when I took this opportunity, I was like, "I'm gonna learn from this. I'm gonna be better. Every time I take something like this, I'm gonna be better." So if I take every opportunity like this, I think there is no failure. You're just going to become better. You're going to have more experience. You're going to become a better speaker, a better communicator. And also, this is really fun. This is the topic that I love talking about. And I just want to, like, sometimes give someone's a headache for, like, with talking so much about it. And so I have the opportunity to, so I should thank you, like, um, yeah, there's just, I think, generally wanting to become better.
amazing. Well, this was a lot of fun for me. Um, and I know
Yeah.
this probably dropped and I know this dropped a ton of value for people out there. So, I appreciate you coming on, and if people wanna find you or they wanna learn more about kind of what you're doing, you mentioned the book, and then what else do you have cooking?
Right now I have the
Mhm.
Instagram, which is Mahin Kohneh. It's a difficult name, but I also have TikTok. Um, that's it for now. Um, so soon more things will be. I think more things will come.
Amazing.
I'm very excited, and also thank you so much.